The year is 1959. I am a soldier in the United States Army, but my post is unlike any other on Earth. I am stationed in Greenland in a place called Camp Century. They call it the city under the ice. We arrived at Thule Air Base first. The cold hit us like a physical wall. Then, we traveled 150 miles across a vast, white nothingness. The landscape was empty and hostile. It felt like landing on another planet. Our destination was not a building on the surface. It was a network of tunnels, buried deep within the Greenland ice sheet. This was to be my home for the foreseeable future, a place hidden from the world. Our convoy of massive vehicles finally stopped in what seemed like the middle of nowhere. Then, I saw it. A ramp leading down into the snow. That ramp was the entrance to my new world. We walked down into a long, brightly lit trench. The walls were pure, compressed ice, shimmering under the electric lights. The air was cold, but still, a welcome relief from the biting wind outside. This main tunnel, they called it Main Street, stretched out before me. It was over 1,000 feet long. Off this central corridor branched other tunnels, leading to our barracks, the mess hall, and even a small hospital. It was a city, just as they promised. Living here is a strange mix of the normal and the bizarre. We have our daily routines, just like any soldier. We have breakfast, we report for our duties, we eat dinner together. We have a recreation hall with a movie theater and a library. We even have a small chapel for Sunday services. These things make life feel ordinary. But then you remember where you are. You remember that above your head are hundreds of feet of solid ice. You remember that the walls of your world are frozen water, thousands of years old. The constant low hum of the machinery that keeps us alive is a permanent soundtrack to our lives down here. The engineers used a clever method to build our home. They used huge machines to dig long trenches into the ice. Then, they covered these trenches with arched steel roofs. Over time, the falling snow buried these structures completely, hiding them from view. The weight of the new snow and ice pressed down, making the tunnels stronger, or so they told us. The result is a subterranean world, protected from the brutal Arctic weather. We live and work in a constant controlled temperature. It's a marvel of engineering, a testament to what humans can build in the most unforgiving places on the planet. But even with all this ingenuity, you can never forget the crushing weight of the ice sheet above. The hardest thing to get used to is the darkness. Up on the surface, Greenland is a land of extremes. During the winter months, the sun never rises. It is a period of perpetual night that lasts for months. Down here in Camp Century, we have our own version of that. We live entirely by artificial light. There are no windows to the outside world. There is no sunrise to mark the beginning of the day, no sunset to signal its end. Our clocks and our routines are the only things that give time any meaning. Sometimes, you wake up, and for a moment, you have no idea if it is day or night. It is a disorienting feeling that never truly goes away. The weather on the surface is something we only hear about. The veterans of this place tell stories of temperatures dropping to 70 degrees below zero. They speak of winds that howl at over 120 miles per hour, strong enough to rip a man off his feet. We are safe from that down here, but we are also completely disconnected from it. We are told that a blizzard is raging above, a whiteout that makes it impossible to see your own hand in front of your face. For us, nothing changes. The lights in the tunnels just continue their steady, artificial hum. We are living in a bubble, shielded from the planet's harshest elements. Our entire existence depends on a single, incredible piece of technology. In 1960, they brought in a portable nuclear reactor. It is the first of its kind. This small reactor, named the PM-2A, provides all the power for our city. It runs the lights, the heating, and all the scientific equipment. It even powers the machinery that melts the surrounding ice to give us our drinking water. We literally drink the glacier. It is a strange thought, knowing that a tiny atomic furnace is all that separates us from a frozen, silent death. It is a constant reminder of the incredible power and the incredible risk of our mission here in the ice. Living in this isolated, man-made environment plays tricks on your mind. You start to miss the little things, the feeling of rain on your face, the smell of wet earth after a storm, the sight of a green leaf. Here, everything is sterile, controlled, and unchanging. The air always has the same metallic taste. The corridors always look the same. Some of the men have trouble sleeping, others become quiet and withdrawn. We are all part of a grand experiment, not just in engineering, but in human psychology. Can a man live happily in a world without a sky? We are the test subjects trying to find out. Most people back home in America probably couldn't find Greenland on a map. They think of it as a giant, empty island of ice near the North Pole. But for the men in the Pentagon, this island is one of the most important pieces of real estate on the planet. The reason is simple. It lies directly between the United States and our greatest adversary, the Soviet Union. The Cold War is a war of geography as much as it is a war of ideology. And in this new age of long-range bombers and ballistic missiles, the shortest path between enemies is over the Arctic. Greenland sits right on that path. This makes the island the perfect location for a military outpost. We already have the massive Thule air base here. It acts as a forward listening post, a place where our radar can detect incoming Soviet bombers or missiles. It gives us precious minutes of warning time, minutes that could make all the difference in a nuclear war. The ability to control this part of the world is crucial to our national defense. We are the sentinels on the northern wall, watching and waiting in the cold. Our presence here is a clear message to Moscow. We are here, and we are watching your every move. Our relationship with Denmark, the country that governs Greenland, is complicated. A defense agreement signed in 1951 allows us to have bases here. But the Danes are a neutral country. They are nervous about getting caught in the middle of a fight between two superpowers. They worry about us bringing nuclear weapons onto their soil. So, everything we do here has to be handled with extreme care and diplomacy. We have to respect their sovereignty while also pursuing our own strategic interests. It is a delicate dance and one that happens mostly behind closed doors, far away from public view. So, while we are told we are here for science, we all feel the unspoken military tension. The planes that fly overhead are not just supply craft, they are bombers and reconnaissance planes. The equipment we use is not just for studying ice, it is for surveillance and communication. We are soldiers, not just researchers. We are on the front line of the Cold War. It is a strange, silent front line made of ice and snow, but it is just as real and just as dangerous as any other. Our mission here, whatever its true nature, is tied to this global struggle for power. To the world, Camp Century is a symbol of American ingenuity. It is a peaceful scientific research station. That is the official story, and the Army has been very good at promoting it. They have called it a demonstration of our ability to live and work in the most extreme environment on Earth. They even produced a film about it, showing happy soldiers working in comfortable conditions deep beneath the ice. They have invited journalists and reporters to come and visit. They show them the labs, the mess hall, and the clean, well-lit tunnels. They want the world to see this as a triumph of progress. The cover story is very believable. We do have scientists here. They are studying glaciology, the science of ice. They are drilling deep into the ice sheet, pulling up long cores of ice that have been frozen for thousands of years. They say these ice cores can tell us about the Earth's climate in the distant past. It is important work, and the scientists are very dedicated. They are part of the reason our presence here seems so legitimate. Their research provides the perfect justification for this expensive and difficult undertaking. They are the public face of Camp Century. The United States Army presents the camp as a model for future Arctic settlements. They talk about it as a prototype for colonies on the moon or other planets. It is a story about humanity's quest to conquer new frontiers. It is a positive, forward-looking narrative that captures the imagination. Magazines like National Geographic have published glowing articles about our city under the ice. They show pictures of our nuclear reactor, our modern facilities, and our life underground. They paint a picture of a futuristic utopia, carved out of the Arctic wilderness. It is a story people want to believe, but for those of us living here, there are hints that something else is going on. The level of secrecy is intense. Certain areas of the camp are off limits to most personnel. The military presence feels too heavy for a simple research station. We are all soldiers, trained for combat. Why send so many of us to guard a handful of scientists? There are whispers and rumors that pass between the men in the quiet moments. We know we are not being told the whole story. The official narrative is like the smooth, clean surface of the ice sheet. It is beautiful and impressive, but it hides the immense, complex, and dangerous reality that lies beneath. The whispers started slowly. A few of the engineers and high-ranking officers would talk in hushed tones. They would look at maps that showed more than just our small camp. They showed a vast network of tunnels, spreading out for miles and miles under the ice. This was not about a small research station. This was about something much, much bigger. The name they whispered was Project Iceworm. It was a name that sounded like something out of a science fiction novel. It was a name that carried the weight of an incredible secret. The secret was that Camp Century was just the beginning. It was a test. Slowly the picture became clearer. Project Iceworm was a plan of breathtaking ambition. The goal was to build a secret military base under the ice, far larger than anyone could imagine. The plan was to dig thousands of miles of tunnels, and inside these tunnels, the army would place hundreds of nuclear missiles. These missiles would be mounted on railway cars, constantly moving through the network of tunnels. They would be a hidden mobile arsenal, impossible for the Soviet Union to track. If they launched a surprise attack on the United States, our Iceman missiles would survive, ready to launch a devastating counterattack from their secret lairs beneath the ice. The strategic logic was terrifyingly simple. Greenland was the perfect place to hide these weapons. It was close to the Soviet Union, putting major cities within striking distance. The massive ice sheet provided the perfect cover. Who would ever think to look for a nuclear missile base buried under 2 miles of ice? It was the ultimate Cold War weapon system, a second strike capability that would guarantee mutual assured destruction. Camp Century was just the pilot program. It was built to prove that we could build tunnels, generate power, and survive under the ice. We were the guinea pigs for a top-secret nuclear fortress. This revelation changed everything. My life here was no longer just a strange and difficult assignment. It was part of a massive clandestine plan for nuclear war. The hum of the reactor no longer sounded like life support. It sounded like the heartbeat of a hidden monster. The scientists studying ice cores were the perfect cover. While they looked into the past, the military was planning for a dark and uncertain future. Most of us soldiers had no idea. We were just following orders, living our daily lives, completely unaware that we were helping to build one of the most secret and dangerous weapons projects in history. The grand vision of Project Iceworm was built on one crucial assumption. The Army's engineers believed that the Greenland ice sheet was a stable, solid mass. They thought of it as a permanent, motionless platform of rock-hard ice. They believed that once a tunnel was dug, it would stay there forever, a permanent underground highway for our mobile missiles. All their calculations, all their plans, and all the billions of dollars depended on this single idea. They thought they could treat the ice like stone. They were wrong. The ice was not a dead thing. It was alive. The geologists and glaciologists at the camp, the very scientists who provided our cover story, were the ones who discovered the fatal flaw. Through their measurements and studies, they found that the ice sheet was not static at all. It is a glacier, a slow-moving river of ice. It is constantly shifting, flowing, and deforming under its own immense weight. The movement was slow, only a few feet per year. But it was relentless. The tunnels we had dug were not permanent. The ice was slowly squeezing them shut. The walls were bulging inward. The ceilings were sinking. The dream of Project Iceworm began to collapse. Literally. The pressure from the moving ice was too great. The tunnels required constant, difficult maintenance just to keep them open. The idea of maintaining thousands of miles of tunnels, complete with railway lines and missile silos, became an engineering nightmare. A missile launch system requires perfect stability. A railway needs a perfectly straight track. In a world that was constantly warping and shifting, this was impossible. The ice itself, the very thing that was supposed to provide our perfect hiding place, was going to be the thing that destroyed the project. By 1963, the truth was undeniable. The city under the ice was not sustainable. Project Iceworm was a failure. The grand plan was quietly cancelled. The scientific data had proven that the military's ambition had outrun reality. The forces of nature were more powerful than our nuclear-age technology. The Army had tried to build a fortress on what was essentially a slow-moving river. The project that was meant to be a cornerstone of our Cold War strategy was defeated not by the Soviets, but by the simple, unstoppable movement of a glacier. Our secret weapon was crushed by the ice. After the cancellation of Project Iceworm, Camp Century slowly died. It operated on a limited basis for a few more years, but its true purpose was gone. The nuclear reactor, the heart of the city, was removed in 1964. The camp was fully abandoned in 1966. The army decided it was too difficult and expensive to remove everything we had built. They followed the common practice of the time. They simply walked away. They left the entire city to be buried by the snow and ice. The assumption was that it would become a permanent, frozen tomb, entombed forever within the glacier. They left everything behind. The buildings, the tunnels, the vehicles, and the supplies were all abandoned. But they also left behind all of our waste. This included tens of thousands of gallons of diesel fuel. It included large quantities of toxic chemicals, like PCBs. And it included the wastewater from the entire camp, a concentrated soup of sewage and biological waste. Most worrying of all, it included the low-level radioactive coolant water from the portable nuclear reactor. It was all just left there, under the assumption that the ice would keep it safely locked away from the world forever. For decades, that assumption held true. Camp Century was forgotten by almost everyone, a footnote in the history of the Cold War. The snows fell, and the camp was buried deeper and deeper. It became a frozen time capsule, a ghost city sleeping beneath the ice. But the world has changed since the 1960s. We now understand something that the engineers of Project Iceworm did not. The climate is warming, and in the Arctic, it is warming faster than anywhere else on Earth. The permanent tomb of ice that was supposed to hold our secrets forever is beginning to melt. A study in 2016 delivered the shocking news. Scientists predicted that because of climate change, the melting of the Greenland ice sheet could expose the remains of Camp Century within this century. The waste we left behind, covering an area the size of 100 football fields, will not stay buried. The radioactive coolant, the fuel, and the toxic chemicals could all be released into the environment. They could flow into the ocean, poisoning fragile ecosystems. The legacy of our secret Cold War project could be an environmental disaster, a toxic inheritance for future generations to deal with. Looking back on my time at Camp Century, it feels like a dream. It was a place of incredible ambition and profound secrecy. We went to one of the most hostile places on Earth and built a city. We harnessed the power of the atom to keep us warm. We did it because we believed it was necessary for our survival in a dangerous world. We were driven by fear and by a belief in our own technological power. We thought we could tame the Arctic. We thought we could bend nature to our will and use it to hide our most terrible weapons. Project Iceworm stands as a powerful lesson. It shows us the risks of secret projects that operate without public oversight. When plans are made in the shadows, they can grow into fantastic, dangerous schemes. The project was a product of the Cold War's paranoid logic, a plan so audacious that it seems almost unbelievable today. It was a gamble, and it failed. It failed because of a simple fact that was overlooked in the rush to gain a strategic advantage. We did not fully understand the environment we were trying to conquer. Nature does not care about our political struggles or our military strategies. The story of Camp Century is not over. Its final chapter is being written now by the melting ice. The camp is a ticking time bomb, a physical reminder that the consequences of our past actions do not simply disappear. The waste we left behind, assuming it would be frozen forever, is a problem that we have passed on to our children and grandchildren. It is a stark warning about the long-term responsibilities that come with great power. When we create things, we must also think about how to uncreate them. We must think about the legacy we leave behind. Ultimately, the city under the ice is a monument to human ambition, both its triumphs and its failures. It shows our incredible ability to innovate and survive in impossible conditions. But it also reveals our capacity for hubris, our belief that we can control the powerful forces of our own planet. We built a city in a place it was never meant to be. We tried to hide the instruments of war in a frozen sanctuary. And in the end, the ice is having the last word. It is slowly, patiently, bringing our secrets back to the surface, forcing us to confront the legacy of what we did in the cold, dark days of 1959.